Okay, how are you doing so far? Seem a little overwhelming? That's one of the reasons I think we're going at half pace, because it's such a different learning environment than we're used to. I don't like sitting down at my table and having to look at myself in a video having to teach you guys. I want to interact with you. I want to see your faces. I want to see the little light bulb ding come on when you get it. So let's just take it easy, and you'll be able to text or through your mom and email anything that you have as far as questions or concerns or things that are a little too, what's the word, complicated? So, did you like this? Have you started it? This is such a good book. It is so good, and it's like one of the best things that you guys could have while you're at home. Instead of watching videos, instead of playing gaming devices, pick up the book and read. If you go past chapters 1 and 2, great. Keep reading. You got to read the whole book anyway, might as well. But you got to be able to comprehend it, which I know most of you, if not all of you, can. I won't always read the chapters with you, but the first couple ones I wanted to. This story begins within the walls of a castle with the birth of a mouse, a small mouse, the last mouse born to his parents and the only one of his litter to be born alive. "Where are my babies?" said the exhausted mother when the ordeal was through. "Show me my babies." The father mouse held the one small mouse up high. "There's only this one," he said. "The others are dead." "Mon Dieu, just the one mouse?" "Just the one." "Will you name him?" "All of that work for nothing," said the mother. She sighed. "It is so sad. It is such the disappointment." She was a French mouse who had arrived at the castle long ago in the luggage of a visiting French diplomat. Disappointment was one of her favorite words. She used it often. "Will you name him?" repeated the father. "Will I name him? Will I name him? Of course I will name him, but he will only die like the others. Oh, so sad. Oh, such the tragedy." So do we think Mama Mouse has a flair for the drama? The mouse mother held a handkerchief to her nose and then waved it in front of her face. She sniffed. "I will name him. Yes, I will name this mouse Despero. For all the sadness, for the many despairs of this place. Now, where is my mirror?" Her husband handed her a small shard of mirror. The mouse mother, whose name was Antoinette, looked at her reflection and gasped aloud. "Oh, Toulouse," she said to one of her sons, "get for me my makeup bag. My eyes are a fright." While Antoinette touched up her eye makeup, the mouse father put Despero down on a bed made of blanket scraps. The April sun, weak but determined, shone through a castle window, and from there squeezed itself through a small hole in the wall and placed one golden finger on the little mouse, meaning the sun was shining and it was right on little Despero. The other older mice children gathered around to stare at Despero. "His ears are too big," said his sister Merlot. "Those are the biggest ears I have ever seen." "Look," said a brother named Furlough. "His eyes are open, Pa. His eyes are open. They shouldn't be open." It is true. Despero's eyes should not have been open, but they were. He was staring at the sun reflecting off his mother's mirror. The light was shining into the ceiling in an oval of brilliance, and he was smiling up at the sight. "There is something wrong with him," said the father. "Leave him alone." Despero's brothers and sisters stepped back, away from the new mouse. "This is the last," proclaimed Antoinette from her bed. "I will have no more mice babies. They are such the disappointment. They are hard on my beauty." They ruin for me my looks. This is the last one, no more. The last one, said the father, and he'll be dead soon. He can't live, not with his eyes open like that. But reader, he did live, and this is his story. So, you saw the illustrations. It's interesting. So we know we have a mom and a dad. We have a baby mouse. He was the only one that lived from his little litter. He has a sister and a brother that we know of. He's got some very big ears. Let's keep reading, chapter 2. Desborough Tilling lived. Tilling would be his last name, and we'll figure that one out. But his existence was cause for much speculation in the mouse community. He's the smallest mouse I've ever seen, said his Aunt Florence. It's ridiculous. No mouse has ever been this small, not even a Tilling. She looked at Desborough through narrowed eyes as if she expected him to disappear entirely. No mouse, she said, ever. Desborough, his tail wrapped around his feet, stared back at her. Those are some big ears he's got, too, observed his Uncle Alfred. They look more like donkey ears, if you ask me. They are obscenely large ears, said Aunt Florence. Desborough wiggled his ears. His Aunt Florence gasped. They say he was born with his eyes open, whispered Uncle Alfred. Desborough stared hard at his uncle. Impossible, said Aunt Florence. No mouse, no matter how small or obscenely large-eared, is ever born with his eyes open. It simply isn't done. His pa, Lester, says he's not well, said Uncle Alfred. Desborough sneezed. He said nothing in defense of him. How could he? Everything his aunt and uncle said was true. He was ridiculously small. His ears were obscenely large. He had been born with his eyes open, and he was sickly. He coughed and sneezed so often that he carried a handkerchief in one paw at all times. He ran temperatures. He fainted at loud noises. Most alarming of all, he showed no interest in the things a mouse should show interest in. He did not think constantly of food. He was not intent on tracking down every crumb. And while his larger, oldest siblings are, Desborough stood with his head cocked to one side, holding very still. Do you hear that sweet, sweet sound? He said. I hear the sound of cake crumbles falling off the people's mouths and hitting the floor, said his brother Toulouse. That's what I hear. No, said Desborough. It's something else. It sounds like, honey. You might have big ears, said Toulouse, but they're not attached right to your brain. You don't hear honey. You smell honey. And when there's honey to smell, which there isn't, son, barked Desborough's father, snap to it. Get your head out of the clouds and hunt for crumbs. Please, said his mother, look for the crumbs. Eat them to make your mama happy. You are such the skinny mouse. You are a disappointment to your mama. Sorry, said Desborough, and he lowered his head and he sniffed the castle floor. But reader, he was not smelling. He was listening with his big ears to the sweet sound that no other mouse seemed to hear. It's the end of chapter 2. So you have a new little folder. It's either purple or gold, go Tigers, and it has all kinds of fun little things that we'll be working on. There's some color sheets in here. You'll see them, which ones are color sheets. But if you keep going through, there's some vocabulary, there's characteristics of Desborough. You can color him, and we're going to list some things as to what we, how we would describe the main character, right? And then the very first page. And this is us, so it looks like this. Got it? Okay. And we're only going to complete complete this one page. And I want to work with you on it. I want it to be your words. I want it to be in complete sentences. And I want your best handwriting. If your best handwriting is print, then print away. If your best handwriting is in cursive, then you just cursive away, all right? This is The Tale of Despereaux by Kate DiCamillo. DiCamillo, I don't know. What was your strongest mental image about the character? So when they were talking about the mom, the dad, the aunt, the uncle, his brothers, his sisters, when they were talking about Despereaux, what in your brain were you thinking? Yeah, he's this little bitty tiny mice with these huge ears. So he was a little different to start off, right? So the word visualizing is just that. In your brain, how are you visualizing that little mouse to look? And you're going to write it in sentence form. It starts it off with, for you, it says, I visualized. I visualized the little mouse, maybe sickly looking, kind of skinny. I visualized that he's got some really big ears. I visualize that he's smaller than his siblings, right? But there's something cute about him in there. What is it? He's inquisitive. He can interact with his siblings by talking to them and him talking back, right? And then it says, what can you infer so far about any character in the story? Infer is what you think this character may be like just by the information you've been given. So if I infer about the mama, Antoinette, what do I think this character is going to be like? Loving, caring?
No!
Full of herself? Kind of mean, right? She uses the word disappointment to guilt her children into doing things. She's very concerned about the way she looks, her outward appearance. So, what's another character? Do you have another one that you might have an inference about? You can write a little bit about Despereaux if you want to, or the dad or the brother. Okay, so all you're going to do is you're going to finish this page. You're going to have a couple of sentences, but they have to be good sentences. They have to give me some information about Despereaux, about the other characters that I have read about. Okay? Happy reading, and we will talk some more tomorrow.